Well, clearly this beautiful young Brasileira has never heard of what the Necronomicon can do. What's up, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror. I am Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. I have got a doozy today. Mata Negra, or The Black Forest, is a Brazilian film from a certain year. I'll write it down anyway, so it doesn't matter. Very modern, though. Released by Dark Side Releasing, and premiered at Fantaspoa, which I believe is a Brazilian film festival, and Blood Window in 2017. So yeah, I'm guessing it came around 2017. But regardless, this film was very, very good. Obviously much better than the one yesterday. And what we've got going on here is a young woman and her father who live in the forest. They live in a little shack, and the father is a medicine man. He's definitely aging, and the daughter does a lot around the place and a lot for him, including his work, including selling it at the local market. So she decides to go into the local market without him because he needs to rest. And she does. And there's these kids that start throwing, I don't know if it's mud or actual shit, but they throw this like muddy stuff at her on the way, and these kids are just brats, right? But she goes to the market. There's a boy she meets there. There's this woman praising and preaching about Jesus and God. And there's one situation where she gets her bag or purse or whatnot stolen. And because she didn't give any money to this preacher woman, the preacher woman just sneers as if like karma has got her or some shit, like total bitch style. Regardless. Anyway, she's coming back to the hut, and again, she gets mud or whatever else thrown at her by these same kids. And she runs into this guy who basically looks like he's dying and looks like he's really hurt. He's got a completely bald head. He's got like some tribal makeup on him and stuff like that. And he's basically petrified, thinking that he is going to be sent to hell. This film does deal with a lot of, heaven, hell, afterlife beliefs and voodoo and stuff like that. But this guy is basically, he has this bag of gold with him too, and he says that the girl can take it as long as she also takes a book that he gives her and tells her to read the book completely through once and then burn the book and not read through it at all anymore. Just read it once through, pray for his soul, that his soul can be reconciled into heaven, and then just throw the book in the fire and just forget about it and keep the gold. So she takes the book and she does this and she starts reading through it. But he also tells her that she's going to have visions throughout the night, but not to worry about them because once the book is burnt, then nothing else will happen, yada yada. So she reads through the book, some consequences happen, and the father suffers an ill fate. So with him telling her not to worry about things happening or not, he was kind of wrong on that one. So she loses her father. She starts to like this boy that she met at the market that I mentioned. So with the gold, she shows it to him, and she asks him if he wants to escape with her to the city, to the big city, using this gold. And they do, and she takes the book with her. And on the way, they get mugged, and the boyfriend ends up dying. Not the boyfriend, the boy ends up dying. And they shoot her too, but the book actually saves the bullet. Like, the book stops the bullet. It goes halfway through the book, so she ends up living. And now she has to deal with not having a father, as well as not having this love interest that she, got a liking to, kind of thing. So she basically starts to get very interested in this book, and she does a lot more than just read it through it once. She actually starts practicing with things. and eventually she uses this book to extract revenge on the people that wronged her, the people that mugged them, the people that killed her boyfriend. She does a lot of rituals. She does want to revive her boyfriend. There's a lot of voodoo and a lot of like hocus pocus stuff going on in this film that brings in devastating consequences. This film gets violent and very disturbing, but it does have its moments as well, especially in the third act, that get very Evil Deadish. But it doesn't. The Evil Dead scenes are very far and in between. And I would even say they're not fitting. There's one in particular that I'm just going to say involves chicken fetuses. And it's just, it doesn't seem to fit the rest of the tone of the film. But regardless, there's this other couple that comes into the picture too with a side plot, José and Maria. They come in, they're also living in the forest, and José is a chicken raiser, and he loves his chickens. His chickens are basically his pets, to the point where when his wife makes chicken, he gets all pissed off and sad, and it's like, who did you kill this time? And it's kind of fun. But yeah, so she uses this book for many reasons. I would say she's one of the most selfish characters there is, especially for a protagonist, like the main person of the story. She makes some decisions that are extremely selfish. She really seems to only care about herself and her own best interest, to the point where like there's even a point where she almost sacrifices a little girl, like a little 5 to 6 year old girl. And this actually has dire consequences on her too, because then it gets the entire village, including the village priest, after her, and they're basically calling her like the daughter of Satan and stuff like that. So this film goes a lot of places, but all in all, it's her using this book for very bad reasons, and extracting really, really, really bad things. Also, there's parts where people that you always rooted for and you expected to be good are not always as they seem, and the other way around as well. People that you hated and thought were bad end up being actually not what you seemed as well. So people definitely change their characters and their motives a lot throughout the film, and I find that pretty cool because it always keeps you on edge. There's a lot of twists at the end. There's a lot of disturbing imagery though, although some of it is kind of fun and Evil Deadish. Most of it is not. Most of it is actually like extremely disturbing and uneasy, and something that you want to be cautious in if you go into a film like this, because the third act goes pretty brutal, I would say. And I think like the moral of the story basically is the consequences of what happens when you play with evil, basically. So I like that. There's a scene at a party where it turns into a complete massacre. There's I'm looking for what's not spoilerish. So one guy's cursed. I'm not going to spoil anything, but one guy's cursed, and the way to lift the curse off of him is for him to be buried alive for 3 days in a coffin. And if he's buried alive for 3 days, the dead will think he's dead and will leave him alone, and then he won't have the visions he has anymore. Can you imagine that though? Like, would you bury yourself alive for 72 hours to save yourself from being chased by demons? It's I mean, if you're that desperate, I guess I probably would be jumping at the idea. As claustrophobic as I am, I think the seeing visions for 24 hours and not being able to sleep, and fearing for my very own sanity would be way, way worse than spending, a mere 3 days in a box. But who knows? That's a good question. Regardless, this film was fantastic. I absolutely loved the acting. The ending probably will split people because the ending brings on a lot, especially a lot of like the first two acts are very grounded, but once the third act hits, because of everything that's been summoned by this book, things get very supernatural. And there's, like I said, the very end raises a good question on morality. and I really like that about it. So other than, you know, the chicken fetus Evil Dead scene that's comical, everything else pretty much is very serious and thought-provoking. So that's Amata Negra, or the Black Forest, and that's day 19. Go check it out. Dark Side Releasing, I checked out the website, and they have some really wonderful films there too, other ones. But yeah, this is directed by Rodrigo Aragão or Aragão. Aragão or Aragão, one of them. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more. This is 31 Days of Horror. Stay tuned, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Cheers.